How's it going, man? It's AC Lee from the AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast.
Hold it.
If y'all don't know anything, if y'all don't remember anything, if y'all forget everything, y'all just need to remember that.
Hold it.
But yeah, we're still talking football. We're still talking Falcons football.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that!
My co-host, he's probably pouring up another old fashioned. You know, he's a classic man. But me, I'm gonna pull out some of this right here. They don't sponsor us yet, but happy dad. Because I'm a dad. And I'm happy. Call me Pappy. Happy Pappy. Pappy. Happy. And while I'm here, man, thanks for everybody who participated on Instagram. Gave us some stuff to talk about in the comments. Hey, we're not going to talk about all of your topics. We never will. But we are going to talk about some of them. And we want y'all to hold us accountable for the things that we say we're going to talk about that we end up not talking about, right? So for those of you who may have missed it, what Parlay Pete and I did after last week's show is we recapped the show, put that video out. Then we guessed on what we would talk about on this week's show based on what we think was going to happen during the week. Now, next week's show is going to be a little bit different because we got my guy, Sean Daly, big Philly legend over at Fansided. You know my guy from the the Catch Up podcast that I did when I first started podcasting, my original co-host. He's going to be on the show to come talk some basketball with us. We'll talk some football. We'll just talk some life with him, but that's going to be the show next week. But Parlay Pete's back. Hey, Parlay Pete, question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel about the sign Calais Campbell? Does that not tell you that maybe Arthur Blank is full of shit and we're going to make a move that matters because Calais Campbell has only tried to play for winners the last like 5 to 7 years? I don't think he would come to Atlanta just for a bag because we also didn't see what he got paid, which means vet minimum.
That's the assumption.
I'll
be honest. I like
talk
the
to him.
I
love it.
I looked at it more as like when we signed Dwight Freeney. Really, like it's very similar, just in the sense of there is a name recognition with this player. He was still solid. He was productive, considering he was a rotation guy. You know, a guy that was getting probably 40 snaps.
But he was a rotation guy in Baltimore, so it's a little bit different. It didn't mean that he
playing with more dogs.
Exactly. Right. It doesn't mean he can't produce. It just means that they minimize his opportunities to produce.
I still see him being more of a mentor to a young defense, but being, you know, producing as well. I like the signing all the way around because of that. Because I know that he's not coming in here to be a starter. I don't have this expectation of him being a double-digit sack guy. I just look at it more as a move of, you know, this is a good vet to have in the locker room. This is a guy that, you know, has played at a high level for a long time that, who knows? I mean, like in that Dwight Freeney-esque role for that Super Bowl team, maybe he's able to come in and unlock something in one of the young guys that we drafted, like Evan Cady or D'Angelo Malone or even what's my man that we just signed from the Saints? Not Ojedeji. On not him, the white boy that had 7 sacks for the Saints. Maybe he gets more out of them, teaches them a couple moves. Because I feel like Dwight Freeney definitely helped Vic Beasley. Like, I do.
I got that sack, Big Beasley. Hey, it was somebody back home who made a song after that season said, I got that sack, Big Beasley.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to send you a track?
No.
Hey, he's a good guy. I fuck with dog. He ain't no bullshit, dog. You know what I'm saying? No cap.
Is that like the name of the track? Was it kind of like I got them dirty birds like Julio? Was it?
I think the same. Like I got that sack, Big B. He's like I got that sack. Or I got that sack, Big Beasley.
Somebody also said I got a sack like J.J. Watt. You know,
Well, that's a big ass sack.
Yeah.
You got a lot. Pause. Question though. Robert Kraft said Meek Mill told him Lamar wants to come play for the Pats.
I couldn't believe that shit when I saw it. And I was just like, where's like the quote like of actually seeing him say it?
But that's Bill's decision. Is that Robert Kraft telling the Patriots fans, hey man, if we don't get Lamar, blame Bill so I can fire his ass?
You own the team, you ultimately make the decision. If you want them, you're gonna get them. Like, I do not believe that Terry Fontenot, especially based on because of the Lamar thing this year, I do not believe that Terry Fontenot or Arthur Smith was like, yeah, let's get Deshaun Watson. I really don't.
Off the blink. That was all Arthur.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a hard time believing that that was their decision. So I think owners do what they want to do, ultimately, because it is their team.
I was listening to something. I forgot. Oh no, I was listening to the Ron Flow podcast, and he had this guy who works for the players association on there, right? NFLPA.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about one of the problems that he's seeing is a lot of teams are caring too much about expressing to the fans what they stand on and what they believe in, and not trying to win games. Like they're like signaling to the fans, hey, we're interested in this guy. We're not interested in this guy. We got our guy. When they should just be like, let's bring in the best guys for our team, right? Because the fans don't really like. Do we really care what Terry Fontenot says in a press conference? No, we care what they put on the field.
Yep, because that does the talking.
And if you put the right product on the field, we can think you suck. Chris Chandler, his name will always matter in Atlanta because of what happened in 98.
Exactly.
Number 12 will mean something in this city because of 98. 32 will always be Jamal Anderson because of what happened in 98. 81 will always be Terrence Mathis because of what happened in 98.
Dan Reeves,
he's somebody because of what happened in 98. 7 matters because of what Vic did against Brett Favre. What year was that?
02.
2? No, 2, right?
Yeah.
02, that mattered. Then we changed the jerseys up in 04. And with the NFC Championship, we got beat by Donovan McNabb and them. No TO because his leg was broke. How y'all sorry I didn't get beat by he without TO. But nonetheless, those things mean something to us, right? Like it matters. Number 12 does not mean anything to us because of that sorry ass Jenkins nigga from Ohio State came to Atlanta. He was terrible. Privilege Price wore 81. We don't remember that because you were terrible. I remember I went to Hibbett Sports and to get my jersey in the Privilege Price years, right?
Yeah.
One of my partners had a Vic jersey. One of my other partners had a Duckett jersey. I'm like, I'm with the Privilege Price. You know what I mean? I buy the Privilege Price. My mom go, you sure you want that jersey? Yeah, I do. She's like, you sure you want that jersey? You know, you always a Michael Vick fan, and you had the other Michael Vick jersey before they changed. You sure? Bro, before the day was over, I took that Privilege Price jersey back and swapped it out for the red Michael Vick jersey because my partner had the black Michael Vick jersey. And, you know, it's middle school. We wearing jerseys to school every other day. you try to get your jersey game right, so you can have about 7 jerseys, so you can be wearing a jersey all the time, right? You got your good jerseys, your bad jersey. You get some little bullshit ass cheap jersey, but it's still a jersey. You know what I mean? And then you got your white tees, your black tees, your red tees, your blue tees, your pink tees, and you really got 2 weeks playing out of jerseys and t-shirts with nothing on it. Blank t-shirts, not your Fat Farm or your FUBU or your South Pole or your Rockaway, your Sean John. I mean, this is 2000s when we was wearing big clothes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Reebok Classics. And dog, I took that Privilege Price jersey back and went got me a red Vic jersey.
Probably one of the better decisions you've made, at least from a retail standpoint, ever.
Shout out to my mom because she knew better than I did.
No, I always was I had a Vic red one, with the NFL equipment.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where the NFL was tucked underneath the shit.
Yeah.
I got the white one in the closet now. I ordered it off of Poshmark.
White one, like the 2002 white one or the 2004 white one?
2004 white one.
Okay.
That same style you talking about with the red one you had.
Yeah. I had the red. And it's so funny. I always used to rock. I have a Jesse Tuggle jersey that I've had since I was a kid, and
number 58.
It's the old one. I mean, I think on the side maybe it's Reebok. Yeah, it's black. I could still actually put it on if I wanted to. That's the scary part.
Put the shit on.
Weird.
I mean, Justice has his Terrence Mathis jersey that fits.
That jersey, Terrence Mathis gave him that jersey though. That's a game worn jersey. Yeah, that Terrence Mathis jersey. That's a game worn jersey.
Hold on. That drop don't even exist no more on this podcast. But you said,
Hove did. Terrence Mathis gave him that jersey. I'll never forget. I was so mad. Because we're like both little, so like I'm thinking like, man, fuck, why didn't he give it to me? Like, why didn't he give me his helmet then? Like, or something. You deserve to be mad. Yeah, but it's okay. It ended up coming back.
Hey, if you want a helmet, I'll give you mine.
Well, I ended up getting D'Angelo Hall. D'Angelo Hall gave me his jersey, but it's funny because like that same season.
Do you want my helmet?
Sure, I don't see why not. Keep talking.
I wore this bitch 2009, my last season. You can still see the all the eye black that I would wear.
Yeah,
in my chin strap. I wore number 2.
Right.
I got a couple of.
I didn't give out things like stickers to put on them.
Well, we did
letters, almost like I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, let me tell you a funny story about that, right? Because we used to have the little stickers. It would just be the cross sabers, right? We got right here. But my senior year, we lost our first 7 games.
Yeah.
So coach wasn't giving out stickers because we was trash.
Right.
So we just didn't get stickers that year.
Oh.
But a great story. Let me tell you a great story about that helmet, right? The last play from scrimmage that helmet played caught a pick. My last play as a football player was a pick, and I threw my glove into the student section.
Did y'all win the game?
Yeah. It was. We were up.
Oh, you sealed it.
Yeah, I sealed the game with the pick. Had a conversation.
Senior night.
Yeah, home game, senior night, all that shit. Yeah, it was actually a great way to end my unillustrious football career. But I had a conversation with the referee, the back judge who was back there, because I knew him. Ran to like I see him on a regular because I know him. I know his kids, all that shit. Right, we're talking.
Right.
I'm like probably 27, 28 when I see him. So it's 10 years removed from this. I said, hey man, I want to thank you because my last play as a high school football player, I pushed off like hell, and you didn't call it. He remembered the play. He was like, yeah, you lucky I knew you, because if I didn't know, I would have called that shit. I'm like,
collusion.
That's fine.
That's what I take away from it. I take away collusion.
Jalen Ramsey gets to push off. Tell me about this helmet before I go pee.
This helmet was given to me as a gift because I complained about something. They sent this to me in the mail. Not a notable player. It was like some guy that got cut. But it is from, as you can see, look, it's got that on there, the NFL 100 from the 100 season.
That's some solid shit right there.
Yeah, and it looks brand new. It's like, so you know the motherfucker barely played. So, like, it's a relatively – there's like a little thing here on the top of it. I'm sure you can see that.
Oh, he got it on punt.
Yeah. He got cracked one good time. But, like, outside of that, everything else on this helmet is perfect. But now I keep it on top of, like, that fireplace I've got. Kind of, I guess, as art, I guess you could say. I thought about taking it down to my neighbors and we spray paint it, low key. But but like do something really creative with it, low key. Like,
bro, I know this is super selfish, but the Friday before Boink's wedding, I want to hit up my guy who did the cameraman shit, who's gonna do the cameraman shit for the interview that we didn't do yet.
Okay.
And I want him just to record us that night, that Friday night that we kick it.
Mm-hmm.
And we put that out as the podcast.
Will it be a group conversation?
It's gonna be us kicking it and talking shit, and like we're gonna have like conversations that matter.
All right, so like barbershop-esque, like the shop kind of.
Yeah, but it's gonna be real.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We won't think about being. Would he be able to do like the like I'm wired?
Yeah. He has those mics.
That would be great because I think that if we do it and it gets set up and then like
I will send you a video he did of me where I was hosting an event. He had me mic'd up, but he was also recording, and it was he put it all together, and it was a super dope project. And part of it is like a locker room gift.
Mm-hmm.
For the groomsmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can talk to him about editing it appropriately. Like, hey, we want an uncut version like that you send me. And then we want like a podcast version that we could actually put out because we're all going to be together. And it's going to be great fucking content.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's going to be great content. Like even if we don't leave your house, if we go from the house to the roof, and that's the entire Friday night. That's going to be great content.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're just going to be getting drunk and smoking cigars, and I'll say, hey, here's the
memories.
Hey, here's the words you edit out. Because there are going to be some words that are going to get used because we're together.
Words and maybe even partially conversation.
Well, and that's where, and part of that would be, hey,
you could cut a whole segment of
when you start
something.
When you start chopping this, like I'll go to Cartersville for a day to sit in his lab and chop with
watch it yourself and say, yeah, cut from there to there.
It's like, hey, I want this raw. I need this raw stuff, right? Like I need
Give
you
me
to
the
create
whole thing by itself.
I need you to create a raw version compiled. I need that. But you can't put that in there.
Right.
Any stories that any of the married people told, you can't put those in there. We got wives. But hey, talk about Lamar getting blackballed while I go pee.
Well, and honestly, we could talk about that all day.
Yeah, I want to come back and talk about it, but like we've just been all over the place today because we're having fun.
Lamar is a guy that I think is in this position because of his will to not give in necessarily to what the NFL has been, the way that the NFL does business, obviously with agents, guaranteed contracts not being a thing. So like he's getting blackballed because of that. Like we know this. And the weird part about it, I think, is just is Lamar Jackson ever going to play football? And I think that's got to be a real question that we have to ask ourselves. what happens, if nobody trades for him? Does he swallow his pride and play again and then potentially get hurt, which doesn't sound like something he wants to do? And when I say play again, I mean, sign that tag that they gave him, $32 million, something like that. Plays the 1 year. Maybe he balls out. Maybe he gets hurt for a third straight season. Then what? What's going to happen is the question. And I think that's just the biggest concern going forward with him in his career is how does he handle it, and what comes of it? What could be the last resort of this situation? And I was just telling them, Lee, what happens if nobody trades for him? Does he sit out the whole year, Le'Veon Bell style, or does he sign it and swallow his pride and play the 1 year tag, get the guaranteed money, possibly get hurt a third year in a row, which from there, I don't know what his value is if he gets hurt a third year in a row. He could do the same thing he did last year. Let's say he goes like 8-4 or something like that and gets hurt.
Here's
I don't know what his value becomes.
Here's what makes the Lamar thing funny to me. Kyler gets hurt, still gets paid.
Yeah, he already got his bag though.
But he had naggy injuries like Lamar had naggy injuries. He still got paid. He did not produce at the same level that Lamar Jackson did.
Right.
Dak Prescott breaks his fucking leg. Still gets paid.
That's because Jerry realized he fucked up.
I just don't understand what he has to do. And the only thing that tells me why Lamar Jackson shouldn't get paid is that he doesn't have an owner. I mean, excuse me, an agent from a major agency that has leverage to get the teams to do stuff for other clients, right? And the way Lamar is being covered is negative. You know why it's negative? Because he's coloring outside of the box. It's just like when they said, "Hey, you can't win a Super Bowl with a mobile quarterback. He has to be a pocket passer." No, you can. You just got to change the way you go about things. The way they talked about, hey, he could do this in the college game. He could dominate in college, but he can't play in the NFL. Are you sure he can't play in the NFL, or can you not set up a system for him to succeed in the NFL? Like, if you're going to ask this defensive lineman who's been a nose guard his entire life, a run stopper, who just clogs up the middle, and you say, hey, I need you to move out to play a 3 technique and a 5 technique. And he goes, hey, I'm not agile enough to do that. I'm a Vince Wilfork body who clogs up just the middle of the defense. No, I can't do that. Or, hey, middle linebacker, I need you to play sideline to sideline. He goes, no, dog, I'm a run stuffer. Right. Like I just get downhill. Like, I don't go left to right. I go up and down. Like, so because Lamar does not fit the mold as a talent, and Lamar does not fit the mold from the professional side of the house, the odds are against him, and there are multiple reasons why Lamar is going to get fucked over that are outside of what he brings to the table as a football player. It's like, well, can he be healthy? Yes, he can. Like, his injuries and the plays in which he got those injuries were pretty fluky. And if you watch Lamar Jackson play, he doesn't take a lot of hits. And he may be listed at somewhere between 205 and 215. He's not. He's like 235. Like he gained the extra weight. You can see it on him. His teammates love him. Players who have never even played with Lamar Jackson are advocating for him. So that lets you know what type of guy he is and what type of work he puts in. If you've actually watched his game, not his stats, if you've watched his game, he has gotten better and progressed every single year. Every year, he's added a different tool to his game. To his game, so that lets you know that's the type of guy you want in your building. And for those of because Jalen Hurts has all this hype coming off of the Super Bowl run. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson does everything that Jalen Hurts does better than Jalen Hurts, except for squat, maybe.
Not as good a power runner.
Sure. Who cares? When you're the fastest person on the field, I don't care if you're not a better power runner. That little 1 yard, let's pick him up and push him play. You know what I mean? Like,
his ass was running between the hashes, getting them yards. That's all I'm saying.
And Lamar can.
No, I'm not saying that he can't.
I know.
I'm saying
stylistically, it's different.
It's just a different. He's much more power. Josh Allen's more of what Jalen Hurts does. Like, it's just more. It seems like because this guy's legs are like cheap tree trunks.
Hey, Jalen Hurts. Nah, if Jalen Hurts was a woman, you want to fuck her. Like, just big thighs and ass. You know what I mean? Like,
oh boy,
doesn't that make people uncomfortable?
Yeah,
because I by no means am I sexually attracted to Jalen Hurts. I'm just speaking to like the things that make him great as a football player. His thighs, his butt, because he's super strong, super solid lower body. You like that in a runner of the football, but you also like that in a runner of a penis.
Absolutely.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
You know what's funny? They asked Kirby Smart. He was talking about basically something that Bill Belichick looks for.
Okay.
They said that Bill Belichick, when he goes to these like pro days, he wants to look at the O-line and D-linemen's asses because it tells you how much space that they're going to take up. And like, no, seriously, when Kirby Smart said that is something that like he looks at, and like he looks at how big a guy's ass is because it tells him just how much space he's going to eat up. So he likes to get behind the O-lineman and look and see just like what a weird way to measure something, right? It's just like his ass is so wide, I know he's gonna eat up space. Like,
that's funny. You want to hear something else I found funny listening, like football coaching, talking wise?
Go for it.
I listen to my guy Cowherd. You know, I listen to Cowherd all the time, right? He was talking about football coaches, and he was talking about Harbaugh and Lincoln Riley. He's like,
who's Harbaugh?
Jim.
Okay.
He's like, Jim Harbaugh, Lincoln Riley, they can walk into the NFL job tomorrow. You know, you guys get caught up on wins and all of this stuff, but Jim Harbaugh, Lincoln Riley, they can coach. I know they haven't won a national championship, but they can coach. Kirby Smart, he's the NFL coordinator. Lincoln Riley and Jim Harbaugh, they're NFL coaches. And I go, you may be right, but they're not better coaches than Kirby. Kirby looked Lincoln face to face. One of Link's better teams he's ever had. Better than his USC team that got beat by Tulane.
Right.
And he walked him down and said, "Hey, Baker, no natty for you, buddy. You're not going. You don't want to see Saban. You ain't built like that." And it's so funny the way, and here's where I'm going with this, right? It's so funny the way that the media cares so much about like offense and guys who are innovative and they think bigger than the room. And it's like, hey, you know what Kirby and Nick Saban are doing? They're getting the biggest, fastest, strongest football players and saying, hey, here's what you do well. Do this all the time. And they win.
Do it all the time and knock this guy on his fucking ass, please.
Yeah, like they're the reason why Caleb thought about coming to Georgia. And I get why he didn't, because Curb is like, hey, you're going to have to compete with Stetson. Because we can win a national championship with this guy right here.
We just did.
And it did it back to back. You know what I mean? Like, back to back. Like, so it would have been nice to have Caleb Williams on the roster last year. But you're a Georgia fan. Do we really want that razzle-dazzle fancy shit in our football?
I don't think that it's Georgia football.
Bingo.
That's not the culture. That's not the identity. And
Caleb Williams,
even all the studs on defense, right? They've got personality, like Jordan Davis. Like, them guys had personality, but like
Jalen Carter.
But bro, they
Paul Walker, Tyrese.
Bro, them boys. I mean, I even look back to the 17 team. I mean, 17, 18 team. DeAndre Baker, bro. Like, these were real dudes on the field. Like, they fit what Kirby was talking about, man. Like, like these guys fit what he's talking about. Hey, has he dropped on boards?
Who? Jalen Carter?
Keely Ringo. I don't hear much about when they talk about corners. There's like that corner from Oregon, Gonzalez, and then there's the guy from Illinois. Like, no, I haven't seen anyone have Keely Ringo as a top, like a guy getting drafted in the first round.
He's been quiet, but here's what
they didn't talk about him at the pro day. You know what I mean? Because it was all about Nolan Smith being just this crazy fucking football, and then, you know, Carter obviously and his issues. Like, nobody even said anything about Keely Ringo or Stetson Bennett, really, for that matter.
So I looked up some Stetson Bennett stuff. He's looking like 4 to 6. I'm reading saying right now. Keely Ringo's the ninth. Keely's the 9th best cornerback.
Wow.
Here he goes. He too often grabs at receivers and gets lost on the deep balls, which will be more consistently called against him in the NFL. They need to work with him, both technique and instincts, get him used to use his hands more conservatively and play the ball in the air. He is a little stiff, and combined with his size, he is likely an outside corner, only bringing him down. He's likely an outside corner only, bringing him down to cover a slot receiver. Tight end would likely not produce desired. Gives us fuck. What is this 40?
Probably 4.5, 4.57, like something like that.
Let me see. Nah, he ran 4.36.
Oh shit. Okay.
He ran 4.36 and he's 6'2". Draft him. I don't like.
What do you feel like if he falls to the second round? Because we could use another corner.
I would love to put him on the other side of AJ, because AJ's real like AJ's a real lockdown.
Yeah, we could use another corner.
So,
not to mention, I mean, we got Casey Hayward still, and he got hurt like early last year, so we didn't really get to see what he would look like. And then as he got hurt, then AJ Terrell got hurt, and it was.
Here's what I did on Madden with the Falcons, right? I traded back and drafted Bijan Robinson. Traded for Justin Fields. Picked up OBJ in free agency. Guess who?
Probably won 12 games.
Huh?
Probably won 12 games.
Oh, I'm in year 4 and I've won 2 Super Bowls. On all Madden. What's my man? And this is where it becomes a video game. My man from Dallas became available. Diggs. What you want? I'm signing you.
One of you'd already been winning too.
So yes, Trayvon Diggs and AJ Terrell. Like AJ Terrell, legit lockdown. Trayvon Diggs, big play guy. This is why I think Dallas is going to be, their secondary is going to be nice, because Diggs is going to get to freelance a little bit more because his assignments are going to change. We've talked a shitload of football.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Brock Purdy in the driver's seat and what that means for Trey Lance and maybe the 49ers sucking at the draft again, because you know what? They fuck up the top of the draft. Bosa was easy.
They drafted, even though he just left, I know McGlinchey was a guy that they got in the top 10. That was somebody that Kyle drafted.
They let him go for a reason.
He got paid a lot of money, too, by Denver. And so
Denver's desperate.
49, well, but look, the 49ers look at it this way. I saw Will Compton.
Okay.
There are guys that were Falcons players that are starting on that offensive line that weren't guys, that were not like our guys here. They were, I guess, top pieces. But Trent Williams, they have guys there. So it's I feel like he knows his scheme well enough to where he's like, I'm not paying you 5 years, $82 million. You know what I mean? I'm not paying you that.
2017 was ugly for Kyle.
Who?
2017 was ugly for Kyle. His first draft.
Was that the year they drafted the dude? It wasn't DeForest Buckner.
No, that was the year before.
It was Solomon, right?
Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster.
Okay. And the issue with Reuben Foster, but he had question marks going into the draft that year.
Yeah, he hit swimming.
Yeah. Well, he was out of the league really quickly.
Yeah, because he hit swimming.
And Solomon Thomas just never lived up to, because they took him third.
Yeah.
And he was Stanford. He was a Stanford guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Let me just look at the 2017 draft.
You can't get mad at him the first year on the job, though. And what's funny is that as an offensive guy, he drafted defensive people.
Yeah, and this is when they didn't have a quarterback yet, and they passed on. Well, they got Christian McCaffrey eventually, but they passed on Patty and Deshaun. Oh, golly. Jamal Adams. I think Jamal Adams is trash, but Marlon Humphrey, Tre'Davious White, Budda Baker, Marshawn Lattimore. What's my man's name? The running back from the Bengals who hit the woman?
Joe Mixon.
Kamara.
Keep talking. I'll turn my fan on. Keep going.
Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt. We got James Conner. Ooh, TJ Watt was in this draft. Juju was in this draft. Cooper Kupp was in this draft. They did get George Kittle in the 5th round. My goodness. What a draft.
Well, that saved it.
Mike Williams.
Does that not save it, though?
Huh?
That saves your draft, though.
Yeah, no. It does. It does. Listen. Let me read some of the first.
Travis
the first round to you.
The league, but you could really argue blocking and receiving wise, a combination of both.
Yeah, he's the best combo of both in the league. He's just not healthy.
Yeah.
So 1 Myles Garrett, 2 Trubisky, 3 Solomon Thomas, 4 Fournette, 5 Corey Davis. What a terrible pick, Tennessee. I see why John Robinson got fired. 6 Jamal Adams, 7 Mike Williams, 8 McCaffrey, 9 John Ross, terrible pick. 10 Mahomes, 11 Marshawn Lattimore, 12 Deshaun Watson, 13 Hassan Reddick, 14 Derek Barnett, 15 Malik Hooker, 16 Marlon Humphrey, 17 John Allen. Damn, Tennessee again. 18 Adoree Jackson. Did John Robinson deserve to get fired just for this draft?
I would say so, because Adoree Jackson, he was the corner out of USC.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine drafting? And look, it's not that it.
Hey, we drafted Tack McKinley that draft.
Well, and now this is getting to my point. Even when I heard Adoree Jackson's name, now when I look at Tack just re-signed with the Cowboys. But
yeah, a pick right before Tre'Davious White.
How much of a red flag is it to draft a defensive player out of the Big 12 or the Pac-10?
I wouldn't.
Like, I want you to, can we name some of the great, and I'm not talking historically, but just recently, some of the better defensive players that come out of those conferences? I can't really think of any.
They don't exist because they don't play defense there.
I think that the last time I remember a Big 12 player being a great draft pick out of the Big 12 was probably Von Miller when Texas A&M was still in the Big 12. That might be the last great defensive player that I'm like, just off the top of my head, I'm like, oh yeah, he was great, like type shit. Like,
yeah,
Pac-12, I can't name any. I can't name too many great players that aren't skill position players out of the Pac-12.
In that draft, we took Duke Riley in the 3rd round before Chris Godwin, Kareem Hunt, Shaquille Griffin.
We didn't even have a need for that, though, in 2017.
Shit, Deontay Foreman, Kenny Galladay, Jonnu Smith.
But you got to look at our team, too, that year. We didn't have that need. Like, we had just came off the Super Bowl. We didn't need any running backs. We had 2 of them at the time. We had 2.
We still need a running back.
Certainly, we could have added one. You want to know what it is? Because even going up to the Super Bowl, there was all that talk about Devontae Freeman's contract. And, like, you know, Uncle Luke's camp basically was, like, kind of in control of that. Like, his wife was, like, his agent or some shit. And that was, like, a thing at the Super Bowl. I just remember they were talking about it.
Keep going.
Well, why is this even being talked about for this game? Like, why doesn't that just become the focus after the game, whether we win or lose? Like, what would be the point to talk about that? You know?
You know, the one thing I've learned about Black culture, and this is going to take us into the NBA, right?
Okay.
So this is going to close out hour 2 of the show. We're going to get into hour 3, and hey, guys, it's going to be a fucking long show. But anyways, get into hour 2. We're going to talk about we're going to talk more NBA now, more basketball. We're going to start with the NBA. But